Logan Paul and Prime have built a reputation for being a perfect example of how not to run a business over the last few years.
We have created our own drink company. Yes! Ladies and gentlemen.
By early 2026, the hype around the company had cooled off hard. Stores were reportedly stacking bottles everywhere, and in some places, it felt like they were practically giving the drinks away because demand had dropped so much. People online even joked that nobody wanted to touch a bottle anymore. Now, you gotta look at the faces behind the brand first, Logan Paul and KSI. KSI has managed to keep a pretty solid image with a lot of fans online, but Logan's history has followed him for years. He faced major backlash after filming a highly criticized video in a forest years ago, and later got pulled into multiple controversy storms, including crypto projects that brought heavy criticism from viewers and investigators online. That kind of history already had people raising eyebrows when Prime first launched back in 2022, especially when Logan Paul and KSI revealed the drink live on Instagram. Still, despite all the controversy around Logan, the business setup looked genius at first. You had two of the biggest internet celebrities on the planet teaming up to sell a flashy sports drink to millions of loyal fans. On paper, it looked unstoppable, and for a while, that's exactly what happened. Right after launch, Prime exploded everywhere online. It became one of the biggest influencer products the internet had ever seen. Kids were rushing into stores trying to grab bottles before they sold out, and every restock turned into complete chaos. People lined up outside shops just hoping to get one before they disappeared again. The hype was unreal. At one point, Prime almost felt like a luxury brand instead of a drink. It had that same viral energy big fashion brands had back in the late 2000s, except this time it was colorful bottles instead of sneakers. The craze got so massive that even South Park made fun of it, which showed just how huge the trend had become. But even though Prime looked untouchable during its peak, things would eventually start falling apart in a major way. Not long after Prime hit the market, controversy started spreading all over the internet. Allegations about the drink popped up everywhere, and social media turned into a non-stop debate. Some people were clearly chasing clicks and trying to cash in on the drama, but others were bigger creators who either had real concerns about the product or already had issues with Logan Paul and wanted to call him out publicly. One of the biggest names speaking on it was Ludwig. He claimed that even though Logan Paul constantly promotes Prime in videos, podcasts, and social media posts, he might not actually be drinking it himself. Ludwig suggested that Logan was allegedly filling the bottles with water instead while pretending it was Prime on camera.
I talked to Logan about this. I asked him straight up, I was like, yo, you ever have like a few Primes in a day and you start buzzing off that shit? Because I never looked it up. I just stopped drinking it after that. And Logan, obviously in Logan fashion, he's like, no, dude, I'll have like fucking 6, 7 a day. Fucking don't even bat an eye. And I was like, okay, all right, damn. But that same day, he had a Prime on the set with him. And we were doing a contest where we had to use those little like needles to like crack open from Squid Game, the Squid Game cookies. You know what I'm talking about? And Logan Paul was the only one who was allowed to have a drink on the set. They took everybody else's drinks away because they didn't want us to use water to cheat. Being a fucking cheater, I decided to grab Logan Paul's Prime and I wanted to use it to like help my friends on my team beat the puzzle. That was what I was trying to do. So I sneakily grabbed his Prime and I was going to put some in the cap. But when I did, I noticed the color was weird and I took a sip. It was water. Logan Paul replaced the Prime with water. So I'm pretty sure that motherfucker is lying. And if you drink a shit ton of these, you start buzzing. Because he replaced that shit with water straight up on my fucking mama. I'm telling you, he did that shit.
That accusation hit way harder than normal internet drama because it raised a serious question about the brand's image. If Logan wasn't really drinking the product the way he claimed online, then people started wondering why. After all, both Logan and KSI spent a huge amount of time promoting Prime as a healthier option compared to other sports and energy drinks on the market. Logan had also joked multiple times in his content that he basically replaced regular water with Prime. Even if some fans took it as humor, it still became part of the brand's marketing style. The problem is, younger viewers watching those videos could easily take those comments seriously and try copying the same habits themselves. As wild as that sounds, some younger fans really do look up to internet celebrities that closely. That's why people online started debating whether these kinds of promotions were crossing a line. The more attention the topic got, the bigger the backlash became, and eventually Logan had to respond to Ludwig's claims directly on his podcast. But instead of calming things down, his response only poured more chaos onto the situation and made the criticism even louder.
I go online the other day, and I see this dude Ludwig
Defended himself and explained the bottle situation. The response probably would have landed way better online. But once he added extra comments about Ludwig and started throwing accusations around over stuff that didn't really matter, people immediately focused on his attitude instead of his explanation. To a lot of viewers, it came off like Logan's ego was taking over the whole conversation. And at that point, it stopped being only about Logan himself, because Prime was tied directly to everything happening. When one of the main faces behind a brand gets caught up in online arguments and petty back and forth drama, it naturally affects how people view the product too. Older viewers especially, the audience with more buying power, were watching these clips on podcasts and social media, and many of them started seeing the brand in a more negative light. Whether Logan was technically right or wrong almost didn't matter anymore because the situation made him look immature in the eyes of a lot of people. That image stuck hard online, and Ludwig clearly understood that when he responded to the clips afterward.
Anyway, after he called me a blockhead beta bitch and talked about me for 10 minutes on his podcast, he factually right after talked about how he thinks the moon landing isn't real. This is also the guy who filmed a dead body, and also the guy who released a lunch package with mold, and also the guy who sued someone for making a video essay about him, and also the guy who said that a woman boxer shouldn't be able to win the Olympics because she's, and get this, a woman. So, you know, I'm good. But the thing that people don't give him enough credit for is that he made a game that's really fun and you can make money. Doesn't get enough credit for that. I think Logan thinks that I am mad because I had a suspicion that he had extra information in Mr. Beast's video. Many people in the box believe that, but I wasn't pressed about it. I just thought it was a fun story.
Now, a lot of viewers felt Ludwig handled the situation in a calmer and more mature way overall, and honestly, that's why public opinion started leaning more toward him during the drama. But there was still one part of Ludwig's response that didn't fully add up. At the end, Ludwig claimed the only reason he brought up Logan filling Prime bottles with water was because he thought it was just a funny story to talk about online. But realistically, most people knew there was more to it than that. The internet thrives on rivalry, reactions, and subtle shots between creators, and this definitely looked like Ludwig taking a jab at Logan while the controversy was already heating up. Everybody watching could see the tension from a mile away. Ludwig even admitted in the original clip that he held back from talking about the Prime bottle situation at first because he didn't want to make Logan Paul or the brand look bad. But, according to him, once Logan got involved in more controversial behavior online, he felt like it was fair to finally bring the story up. So at the end of the day, yeah, it was absolutely meant as a shot toward Logan and Prime, even if it was framed like harmless commentary. But compared to what was coming next, the Ludwig drama was honestly the least of Logan's problems. Prime soon started facing criticism on a much bigger level, and this time it wasn't just internet creators arguing back and forth. Parents, health experts, and people across North America began questioning how the company was marketing its energy drinks.
YouTube stars Logan Paul and KSI founded the beverage brand. The drink comes in two forms: energy and hydration, but it's the energy version in neon-colored cans that has Schumer concerned for younger consumers. A 12-ounce can of Coke has 34 milligrams of caffeine, an 8.4-ounce can of Red Bull has 80, and a 12-ounce can of Prime Energy, 200 milligrams.
That is too much for any growing child. And that much caffeine can cause some adverse effects, such as disrupted sleep, mood disorders, upset stomach, even abnormal heart rhythms.
The warning label on Prime Energy notes it's not recommended for people under 18, but Schumer says the warning gets lost in the advertising.
A huge part of the backlash focused on the caffeine content in Prime Energy. The drink contains over 200 milligrams of caffeine per can, which many people online compared to multiple sodas worth of caffeine in one serving. That immediately sparked concerns because Prime's audience included a massive number of younger fans. And honestly, there wasn't an easy response for Logan or the company because the marketing style for Prime Hydration and Prime Energy looked extremely similar. The fast edits, loud music, flashy visuals, and TikTok-style promotions clearly appealed to younger audiences, including teens and kids who already followed Logan Paul and KSI online. Critics argued that while adults can obviously choose to drink energy products if they want, problems start happening when high caffeine drinks are promoted in ways that strongly attract younger viewers. That's where the backlash really exploded online. A lot of people compared Prime's marketing to companies like Red Bull, which usually focus their branding around adults, athletes, nightlife, motorsports, and older audiences. Meanwhile, Prime already had a built-in fan base of younger viewers from YouTube and social media, so critics felt the line between entertainment content and product advertising became way too blurry.
Selling energy brand in the world versus Prime Energy. They're both the US version and they're both 12-ounce cans. 160 calories versus 10 calories. Ooh. 38 grams of sugar versus 0 grams of sugar. What? 114 milligrams of caffeine, we got 200 milligrams.
Ain't no way.
And when it comes to electrolytes, 150 milligrams of electrolytes, we double it, 300.
Oh my God.
Point is, we're so much f***ing better.
The more this conversation spread online, the more pressure started building around the brand. And honestly, even the packaging became part of the conversation online. A lot of people pointed out that the cans looked intense and almost chemical-themed instead of something simple and refreshing. Critics argued that despite all the backlash, Prime kept pushing the same aggressive marketing style because the company was trying to hold on to momentum after wave of bad press. Then came one of the biggest controversies surrounding the brand so far. Online discussions about reports and claims involving microplastics and forever chemicals allegedly connected to Prime Hydration. The topic exploded across TikTok, YouTube, and social media, with thousands of people debating it non-stop. The conversation got so massive that Logan Paul eventually responded publicly as the pressure around the brand kept growing. After all of this, it's really not shocking that Prime ended up with such a rough reputation online. What started as one of the biggest influencer products ever slowly turned into a non-stop cycle of criticism, controversy, and declining hype. Week after week, more people began losing interest, sales reportedly started slowing down heavily, and stores in some areas struggled to move products off the shelves at all. It's honestly wild seeing how fast things change for a brand that once looked completely unstoppable. But that's the internet for you. One minute something is the hottest trend in the world, and the next minute people are already moving on to the next thing. With that said, let me know what you think about Prime down in the comments below. Do you think the backlash is deserved, or do you think people are going too hard on the brand? And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload.